What was supposed to be Meghan Markle's triumphant media comeback has morphed into a full-blown disaster. Her newest audio series, intended to showcase a relatable and authentic side of the former Duchess, has instead triggered mockery from one of America's most recognizable TV couples, Ripa and Mark Consuelos. During a live broadcast watched by millions, the beloved daytime duo didn't just critique the show, they completely dismantled it with pointed sarcasm, brutal honesty, and audible laughter. The segment has set off a chain reaction, sending Meghan into panic mode as her attempt to reshape her image collapses before the world's eyes. Kelly, known for her unfiltered commentary, raised eyebrows when she chuckled and asked, "Do people genuinely like this podcast, or are we just pretending because it's Meghan Markle?" The crowd erupted in laughter. Mark followed up with a jab that hit even harder. "It feels like she's trying to be the girl next door while reading cue cards." Their words weren't just commentary, they were a public demolition of Meghan's voice, tone, and credibility. Then came the sting that Meghan's PR handlers dreaded most. Kelly labeled the podcast cringe. She likened it to an overproduced student project convinced it's Oscar-worthy. That single word, cringe, sparked an online avalanche. Clips of the takedown exploded across social media, with tags like #MeghanCringeShow and #Kelly and Mark Unfiltered surging on X and TikTok. The irony? Meghan once claimed her podcast would revolutionize conversations about women. Now, she's the butt of the very industry she tried to lead. Sources within her Archwell Foundation say Meghan was left stunned and furious. Reportedly, she saw the viral clip just moments after it aired and was devastated that two trusted mainstream media figures had turned on her so openly. One insider told the Mirror she genuinely believed this show would reintroduce her as a serious voice. Instead, it's being ridiculed like a failed screen test. Her team allegedly contacted the show's producers seeking clarification or even an apology. So far, radio silence. But the criticism didn't stop at her delivery. Kelly launched into the content itself, calling it scripted feminism dipped in self-pity. She emphasized, "There's a fine line between empowering women and making it all about yourself." Mark nodded, adding, "When every story is about how you've been wronged, people tune out. Audiences want depth, not drama." The remarks hit at Meghan's core persona, a supposed champion of women who rarely shares the spotlight. If Meghan intended this podcast as a new chapter, it's unfolding as a catastrophe. Social media platforms are flooded with takedowns. Reddit threads are filled with former fans calling the show a masterclass in narcissism. Memes of Meghan holding a mic with exaggerated expressions now dominate Instagram. Worse, usual media allies have chosen silence. Not one major outlet came to her defense. And the audience reviews? Brutal. Ratings have plummeted to one-star averages across major podcast platforms. The backlash isn't about mere dislike, it's personal. People feel deceived. She promised real talk but delivered polished monologues drenched in self-importance. One viral review stated, "It's like listening to a motivational speaker trying to sell their trauma. Nothing feels sincere." Inside Archwell HQ, the mood is reportedly frantic. Crisis meetings began within hours of the on-air humiliation. Senior staff members are pointing fingers. Some blame Meghan for pushing an idea that lacked broad appeal. Others are urging a rebrand or even pulling the podcast entirely. A source told Variety this was supposed to be her reintroduction. Now it's a textbook example of how not to launch a public project. Meghan's biggest challenge remains unchanged, convincing people she's genuine. Critics have always accused her of sounding robotic, rehearsed, and out of touch. Kelly and Mark just made those critiques mainstream. And the damage? Possibly irreversible. Behind closed doors, entertainment execs are reportedly distancing themselves. A docuseries that was in pre-production is now on hold. Sponsors once eager to collaborate are pulling out quietly. As one Hollywood producer put it, when morning TV mocks you, it's over. Nobody wants to bankroll a sinking brand. And this time, Meghan's inner circle is nowhere in sight. No tweets from Serena. No Instagram shares from Oprah. Not even a mention from Ellen. The silence is deafening and telling. One media consultant remarked, "In Tinseltown, loyalty lasts only as long as your image sells." Right now, Meghan's is a PR risk. With her Spotify deal terminated, Netflix momentum evaporated, and this podcast debacle catching fire, it's becoming clear Meghan's days as a media darling may be over. She gambled her future on storytelling, but instead delivered a self-obsessed echo chamber. What's next for the Duchess of Delusion? Insiders whisper she may vanish from the spotlight entirely, regroup, and attempt another comeback down the road. But as one former network executive said bluntly, you only get so many chances. Meghan had them all and squandered every single one. In trying to reclaim her voice, Meghan Markle may have permanently lost her audience.